we've been praying for this day for a long time. So I just want to say, angels watch over you guys and turn on those blue lights tonight.
Breaking news today, the jury in the Darrell Brooks case finds him guilty on all 76 charges against him, including 6 intentional homicides. Just one of those results in a mandatory life in prison sentence.
Deliberations lasted less than 4 hours combined. The jury started around 8 o'clock last night, and then they resumed deliberations this morning for another 2 hours. Last November, Brooks drove his SUV into the Waukesha Christmas parade route. He hit and killed 6 people, and dozens of others were injured.
Brooks was arrested later that day. Initially, Brooks' attorneys pleaded not guilty due to reason of mental disease or defect, but that plea was later changed, and Brooks no longer wanted an attorney. Following the reading of the 76 guilty verdicts, the Waukesha County District Attorney spoke with reporters.
Charlotte DeLeste is here with what Sue Opper had to say today. Charlotte?
Well, Susan and Mark, DA Opper says she's quite satisfied with the verdict and hopes everyone can now move on. If you followed the trial, you saw the many outbursts Darrell Brooks had in court while representing himself. Opper says legally it changed her team's strategy in terms of making sure Brooks didn't make a mistake in court and therefore get a new trial. Every night, her team would reevaluate based on his antics of the day.
He did everything he can except claim that the dog ate his homework. And he tried to turn this into his story. Let's talk about Mr. Brooks and his family. And we just kept redirecting it back to the real focus here is our families, our victims, our community, and his responsibility for this destruction.
In the end, DA Opper says their case was based on a thorough investigation with solid facts and video evidence to support it all. DA Opper says her team made a vow from day one to not put any children on the stand, saying there were plenty of other ways to tell this story without a child having to relive this tragic situation.
Charlotte, thank you. This trial has taken over 3 weeks, and there is a lot to break down.
Earlier today, Mark and I talked to criminal defense attorney Chris Van Wagner to get his take on the verdict.
What does an appeal process look like for Darrell Brooks?
Well, it looks really long and really complicated, to put it bluntly. The appeal doesn't begin until the sentencing occurs, and the sentencing in this case will be in 2 parts. The 3 parts, really. The first part will be today on the first 3 homicide cases. The judge will declare that he is sentenced to life in prison, but then she will set a hearing date to determine his parole eligibility, because on a first-degree intentional homicide, that's how it works. You get an automatic life sentence, but then you are told how long you have to stay. And the judge can say no release, and she can do it on every individual count. At the same time that sentencing occurs, she will have ordered the preparation, I'm sure, of a pre-sentence report, and will then sentence him on all the non-first-degree homicide counts. And once that is all done, then and only then he has 20 days in which to file a notice of intent to pursue an appeal.
And since he's acting as his own attorney, how does that complicate things?
Well, we've witnessed how it complicates things over the past 3 or 4 weeks. I would expect that the court would direct the public defender to appoint counsel for him. Appeals lawyers play a different role than trial lawyers. Trial lawyers have to sit with the client, have to talk to the client, have to go through witness information, fact information, and so forth. An appeal is literally based on the cold record. And so it will take probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months to just prepare the transcripts from the trial alone. So his case will not even reach a briefing stage for a full year. But the lawyer representing him, appointed by the public defender, no doubt, will also have to investigate whether there are claims. This is going to sound strange. The lawyer can actually claim ineffective assistance of counsel to himself, as crazy as that sounds, and can claim that he didn't get a fair trial in the interest of justice because he should not have been allowed to represent himself. That seems to fly in the face of common sense and logic, as well as Mr. Brooks' wishes, but I have no doubt that will be considered. There may also be evidence that because he represented himself, he was unaware of, and the appeals lawyer may find it and may add that to the claim, because in Wisconsin, before you go to the appeals court, you first have to file a motion for a new trial if you intend to seek it on any grounds. I would say that we should not expect to know what his claims on appeal are with an appointed lawyer for at least a year.
He didn't do himself any favor during this trial, did he?
That is the understatement of the year. He did not do himself any favors. He did himself a lot of disfavor. And I hate to say it, but that is his constitutional right. There's an old saying. It is that a person who represents himself has a fool for a lawyer and a bigger fool for a client. And I'm not calling Mr. Brooks a fool, but I'm saying we witnessed live on a daily basis exactly why the client suffers when they don't have a real lawyer, when they represent themselves. There are some people who can pull it off. You may not know this, but I think Teddy Bundy represented himself in his own trials. He was a very smart man, but he still didn't help himself. So as a practical matter, Mr. Brooks chose the path he went on. Some people would say he basically broke himself into prison on this one, even if he had a chance of winning any counts. And the best an appeals court lawyer can hope is to raise questions that would allow it to be retried with the approval of Mr. Brooks as well, with an actual lawyer representing him that might be able to argue for something less than first-degree homicide. Because, frankly, that would have been the defense attorney's tack, that these were crimes of passion without either the intent or the premeditation that one normally associates with first-degree homicide. These were crimes he committed, it appears, out of anger and rage toward the girlfriend who testified. So a good lawyer would have tried to raise that and defeat or chip away at the state's contention that as he drove through that parade, he intended to kill people in a rage. Well, we've all heard the term blinded by rage. That appears to be what he was. And then afterward, he realized what he'd done, and he made efforts to cover it up. That doesn't mean he'll get any less time. People should understand that even if he's convicted of first-degree reckless homicide by a vehicle, or second-degree homicide, whatever a lesser charge would be, if he had been convicted of those things, I suspect the judge would still give him a sentence that would be long enough that he would never see the light of day. I expect that to be the case here.
So it's far from over.
I would say that the main event is over. And I would say the likelihood of a new trial on appeal is only slightly better than the average case. And that's only because he chose to represent himself. But remember that you have a constitutional right to represent yourself. The judge had competency evaluations saying he was not incompetent. He understood the process. And so the judge did everything she could in a show of patience that I would say is unrivaled in my 41 years of practice, to make sure that she did not let her emotions get in the way. I would say that the vast majority of people watching this online or on TV probably felt like it was time to gag him and bind him and keep him out of the courtroom. She tried every single session of court to treat him with human dignity and have him return the favor with behavior. He, towards the end, decompensated. He fell apart. That's hardly shocking.
Chris Van Wagner, thanks for your insight. Interesting trial.
Great to see you, Chris. Thank you so much.
I'm glad to be of help. Let me know when I can do it again. Thank you.
And there are obviously a lot of layers to this trial. If you'd like to see our coverage throughout, check our website, channel3000.com, or download our app. We have much more coverage on this coming up tonight at 5 and 6.
Let's take a break and look outside. A beautiful fall day today.
What a difference from yesterday, isn't it? Sunny and a little, got that crispness in the air.
It's great. This weather is a treat. Greg's in the backyard with how long it'll last.
Yeah, it actually is fairly nice today compared to yesterday with the rain falling. So overall, it's actually, temperatures are a little bit warmer today just because we had more sun, although cooler air behind the front actually allowed our temperatures overnight to get down. So that's really going to be the story for the next week and a half right now. Overall, temperatures are starting to modify. All that cold air has pushed to the east with that front. So we're seeing plenty of sunshine for this evening. That's a story. Plenty of sunshine. The winds will start to die down. They were a little bit stronger this afternoon or this morning too, but overall, we should cool back down into the upper 30s by the time we get to 10 p.m. and there are plenty of sunshine and turning to clear skies right now. So you look at the big picture, overall Midwest, temperatures overall right where they should be really this time of year. Low to mid 50s with less cloud cover. More of the clouds is to the east and to the north, but that is beginning to dissipate. The next system out to the west, that is hitting them, but it's not impressive as the last one. And will that impact us? I'll let you know how that may impact us, but more or less how warm we'll get for the next week a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, Greg, looking forward to that. Thank you. Well, are you thinking of traveling over the holidays and plan on flying?
You may want to rethink that. CBS senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg talks about ticket sticker shock when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
With Pick and Save delivery, it's easy to get your special holiday foods brought right to your door. And that's music to your ears. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Breaking news in Dallas, Texas, where at least 5 police officers were killed when they were ambushed.
This was the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement since 9/11.
Just days after this horrific crime, Mandela Barnes appeared on Vladimir Putin's propaganda news outlet and rationalized violence against American police officers.
Police officers are over-exercising their badges. This probably was a retaliatory attack.
Do you want Mandela Barnes representing you in the Senate?
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
For Clinton Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
Keep your holidays in sync with free pickup on all your fresh favorites from Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back. Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh joined Senator Tammy Baldwin and Congressman Mark Pocan at the recently expanded Laborers Apprenticeship and Training Center in DeForest.
They stopped by to highlight the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to reducing costs for American families and creating good-paying union jobs. Operated by the Wisconsin Labor's District Council of the Labor International Union of North America, the center has 8 classrooms and 4 training bays for hands-on learning, where the officials saw laborers perform work in concrete, demolition, scaffolding, surveying, grading, sewer and water, pipe fusing, welding, small engine, asbestos abatement, and environmental remediation.
As we invest in our surface, water, and energy infrastructure, we will need more workers in the trades. And here in DeForest, they are training that workforce.
Baldwin emphasized that with the CHIPS and Science Act, President Biden plans on bringing more high-tech manufacturing back to Wisconsin. Well, it's not the most high-profile race we're watching this fall, but it could have some big implications.
Right now, the Secretary of State doesn't do much more than stamp the state seal on official documents. But that could change if Republicans flip it this fall.
Our political reporter, Will Keneally, has more on how this race is shaping up. Will?
So you've probably heard it before, the race is close. A recent CNN poll shows that the Republican and Democratic candidates are just 1 point apart. And that matters because the two have very different plans for the office. State Rep Amy Loudenbeck, the Republican in the race, wants to have the office have more oversight over Wisconsin elections.
I think the opportunity to, again, resurrect an office that is important in other states and really isn't here and add value to the office. So that's the message that we're taking forward. I think it's resonating with not just Republicans, but with independents and Democrats.
So on paper, Loudenbeck has an uphill battle this fall. The incumbent Democrat Doug LaFollette has been in office since 1983, meaning that he's served under both Republicans and Democrats who have been in the governor's mansion. And if Republicans have a good year and win the Secretary of State, we could see that office influence elections, anywhere from breaking a tie on the state's bipartisan elections commission to even handling election administration outright.
And thank you, Will. And our coverage of Campaign 2022 continues tomorrow with live Attorney General debate between Democratic incumbent Josh Kaul and his Republican challenger, Fond du Lac District Attorney Eric Toney, moderated by our own Eric Franke. You can see it live at 4 o'clock in this time slot. There'll be no Live at 4 tomorrow. It'll be on WISC-TV and streaming on Channel 3000.
Well, mark your calendars, Badger football fans. Wisconsin's Big Ten schedule for next season was unveiled this morning. The Badgers' Big Ten slate begins with a trip to West Lafayette to take on Purdue. The first Big Ten game at Camp Randall will be against Rutgers on October 7th, followed by another home game against Iowa on October 14th. The Badgers take the show on the road to play Brett Bielema's Illini on October 21st before returning home to take on Ohio State on October 28th. The Badgers have a road game against Indiana and then two final home games against Northwestern and Nebraska. The final regular season game of the year will be in Minnesota when the Badgers and Gophers fight for Paul Bunyan's axe on November 25th. The Badgers still have 4 games left in their current season. Wisconsin hosts Maryland November 5th as they look to take another step forward toward bowl eligibility.
Well, doctors say RSV is striking earlier than usual this year. Historically, RSV peaks during the winter months, but like 2021, this year's state data shows a steep increase in the fall.
RSV, this is something, again, that we normally would be seeing in the middle of winter. It's come on very soon. Why it's been soon and so much sooner this year and last year, we really don't know the answer.
Children with underlying diseases or infants are most affected for RSV. It brings mild cold symptoms like a cough, a scratchy throat, and a fever. Experts expect RSV to continue to spread as we enter a colder season, but there are things you can do to prevent the spread and help keep your child healthy, and that is for the entire family to stay up to date on their flu and COVID vaccine shots. Weak earnings reports from Microsoft and Google took a toll on tech stocks. The Dow Industrials managed a 2-point gain, but the tech-heavy NASDAQ fell 228 points. The S&P 500 was off 28. Turning to travel, and a trend that many experts did not see coming.
The air travel industry continues to thrive, even with high fares and a reduced number of flights.
Earlier, we talked with CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg. Hello, Peter. Just in time for Halloween. The airfares I see posted are pretty scary. What is going on?
Well, it's not time for trick-or-treating these days for the airlines because they've been getting a lot of treats. The travel demand is way up, much higher than people thought. And in fact, it's showing no signs of subsiding through the end of this year. And you combine that with the idea that airlines have slashed flights. They're flying about 10% fewer flights now than they did 3 years ago. That's why every plane is still full. You combine that with the demand, and that's why fares are as high as they are and still could get higher before the end of the year.
So, Peter, is this a good time to use your frequent flyer miles?
Well, traditionally, it would be a great time to cash in your miles, except the flights are full and the airlines are not inclined to displace revenue passengers with a so-called free ticket. However, there is some good news. Think after January 5th, that's when fares go down, that's when numbers go down, and when that happens, guess what? Airline frequent flyer award availability starts to come up. So think about 330 days out between now, actually between January 5th and the end of next year, and you'll find the seats that you want, but do it quickly because the airlines have no problem in raising the redemption levels anytime they want. So if you've got those miles lying around, look for them now, but after January 5th.
So looking into your crystal ball, what does the early winter, January, February look like once we get past the holidays?
Well, that's the good news again. After January 5th, the numbers come down, fares come down, and with the exception of maybe President's Day weekend and maybe one little Easter break window, guess what? Those fares will stay down until around May 15th. Then we're back into the cycle again, and the fares will start going up. So you have a sweet spot of about 4.5 months starting January 5th.
Well, what if you haven't booked your airfare for the upcoming holidays yet? Thanksgiving and Christmas. Are you in big trouble if you haven't already booked?
I would think you should get a Zoom call and call all your friends and stay home. Because the problem is, seriously, the problem is those fares are not going to come down. I saw a fare the other day from New York to Madison, Wisconsin for $1,000. And that, look, you can go from New York to Rome for less than $1,000. So that'll give you an idea about the domestic market between now and the end of the year.
And hotel prices are still high. Rental car prices are still high.
They are. Hotel prices are about 23% above what they were in 2019. The rental car prices are going to start to come down because finally, supply chain issues notwithstanding, the rental car fleets are starting to come back to those companies and they can increase their capacity. And then, of course, the law of supply and demand again, those rental car rates will come down.
Start sending out those Zoom invites.
Yes, the Zoom invites, right.
Peter, great to see you. Thank you.
Great to see you, Peter. Thank you so much.
You got it, guys.
There's no place like home for the holidays.
I might have to do that. I don't have my tickets booked yet, so Zoom Christmas, that's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
Well, if you're waiting for your student loan relief from the government to kick in, it may take a while.
A legal challenge has been filed, and that loan relief may be on hold. We'll break it all down for you coming up after Greg's First Warn forecast.
A 12-year-old girl can't legally drive a car. At 12, she can't even vote. But if this little girl were tragically raped or a victim of incest and became pregnant, radical Tim Michaels would force her to deliver the baby. He said it's, quote, not unreasonable for the state government to mandate rape victims to give birth. Would it be unreasonable if he were forcing this on you? Let him know on Election Day.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. And if you haven't tried Plexiderm, we've created the best offer yet with our Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under-eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. Even the 11 lines between your eyes are visibly gone in minutes. Plexiderm works so well, makeup artists, celebrities in Hollywood, and even people across the country just like you look and feel years younger in minutes.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. That was me a couple of years ago when I first tried Plexiderm. So I have these forehead lines. They're really deep set. They're hereditary. I've had them for years. And a couple of years ago, I took the Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. Really, there are no other options. Plexiderm is the only thing that works. So after that video shoot, I was just walking home through Manhattan, smiling, thinking, wow, I look really cool. I look really young. And I think it just exuded this confidence. It was life-changing. It was the best decision I ever made. Still using it.
I'm Neela. I'm 61 years old. I'm a professional personal trainer. It's so important to be in good health and to be fit and take care of yourself. How it makes you feel inside is amazing. And yet, when you look in the mirror, what you see necessarily isn't what you feel inside. Plexiderm, seriously, I look 20 years younger than I did before. And that's so super important because my whole life is about health, fitness, feeling good, and looking good. And first chance I really got to look how I feel inside. Honest to God, it's amazing. There's nothing there. Like, the bags are gone.
The instant results are from naturally based silicates found in shale rock. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under-eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. So if under-eye bags and wrinkles make you look tired and older, take action with the Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. Try it today for only $14.95, plus get free shipping. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
I'll never forget January 6th, watching my fellow law enforcement officers defending the Capitol, defending our freedoms, defending democracy, and then 5 officers died. But Ron Johnson is making excuses for rioters who tried to overthrow our government, even calling them peaceful protests. Johnson defended Donald Trump's lies and even supported efforts to make it harder for some people to vote at all. Senator Johnson's just not for us.
And Citizens United is responsible for the content of this ad.
Well, take a look at this. Some people don't even like walking in heels, but that didn't matter last night in Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser hosted the 35th annual high heel race to acknowledge the city's LGBTQ community. The race covers 3 blocks, lasted about 10 minutes.
Whoa, look at this guy.
Because, of course, running in heels is hard. Not for him. Festivities were planned throughout the evening.
I always feel like, oh, somebody's going to break an ankle.
You're not used to it.
No. I like those light-up ones.
Yeah,
they were pretty cool.
Good day for a little jogging heels outside.
Well, I won't do the heel thing, but yeah, the jogging thing, yeah, definitely it's about where we should be. So, and the good thing is we're going to have a nice stretch of weather again. Not quite 70s, but 60s.
We don't need 70s.
And trick-or-treating looks okay, too. I'll break that down. All that, what that means after the break.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
These guys will buy our house without even seeing it.
Online buyers make offers that seem attractive at first, only to lower or cancel at the last minute. We Buy Ugly Houses won't reduce or cancel our firm cash offers before closing. Call or click to sell quick.
More than 300 murders just last year. Terror at the Waukesha Christmas Parade. But defund the police radical Mandela Barnes still supports eliminating cash bail, releasing dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes says,
reducing prison population is now sexy.
Actually, releasing criminals isn't sexy. It's dangerous. Radical Mandela Barnes won't keep your family safe. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhoffels. Right now, you can get a Beauty Rest Queen mattress for only $4.99. Or get $200 in Steinhoffels cash when you upgrade to the redesigned Beauty Rest Black. More luxurious and comfortable than ever. And with Steinhoffels special financing, your mattress just got more affordable. Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep? Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
You heard the Jingle Man, Wisconsin. That means it's time to get a versatile, rugged, athletic SUV that makes you feel like you just won a title. Again. Honda was just crowned KBB.com's best value brand for the 7th year in a row. So get up and go to your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin. Bring it home, Songbird.
Get up and go.
I see your hard work. Everything you do to try to make it. But people continue to be left behind. I'm running for Senate to put more money in your pocket. Ron Johnson's had 12 years to make things better. But costs are still rising. And all he's managed to do is write a tax cut for himself. I believe better is possible. I believe hard work can pay off. And I'll never stop fighting until it does. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe these guys will buy our house.
What could go wrong?
Like rookie home buyers who can lower or cancel offers without notice. We Buy Ugly Houses won't reduce or cancel our firm cash offers before closing. Call or click to sell quick.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Yeah, of course, we were just about less than a week from Halloween. Activities to Saturday, too. Some ideas of records, rainfall and snow. We actually had 4 inches of snow back in 2019. The good news, we're not going to see either of these, and actually it's going to be dry and actually above average, too, so 60 degrees. So we're looking actually pretty good for this Halloween. Really, the flow right now is becoming kind of a split flow we're going to see in the next few days. So one stream to the south, one to the north, and it's really going to keep the cold air to the north overall for the next week. And all the systems really going to track to the south, including one that'll be a Saturday, Sunday to the south that'll bring us clouds. But overall, this is a dry pattern and mild conditions. And we're not going to see much of a change of this until we get to like middle of next week, when that system out west will begin to push east. Then we'll start grabbing some of the colder air. So that's more of a Wednesday to next week. But in the meantime, we're going to see 60s, which is above average, which we should be about the mid-50s right now. As you look, if we zoom in to see what that means locally, just some cloud cover really over the next 24 hours from that system out to the west is going to spread eastward. Otherwise, a wind shift tomorrow, lighter winds, more southeasterly winds, but other than clouds for the next 2 to 3 days, we're not going to see much of any precipitation, and temperatures once again will get back in the 60s as we get to Friday. Clear skies, silly winds, and through the weekend too, and this continues really throughout the early part of next week. So overall, we're going to cool down back to the low 30s tonight overall, which we should be around the low 30s for most areas this time of year. Winds will turn around tomorrow, so it'll be lighter winds, not like we had today out of the northwest. More southeasterly winds. That'll allow our temperatures to warm up more closer to the mid to upper 50s, maybe a 60 in there somewhere for some of the places. A few high clouds, but overall, that cloud cover really is going to stay. We'll see that overnight Thursday once again pass through quickly, and then kind of a repeat on Friday with even warmer temperatures. Most areas on Friday should get up into the 60s. So overall tonight, around freezing for most areas, upper 20s, low 30s. Once again, that is pretty much normal for this time of year to see it. And tomorrow, mid to upper 50s, mild conditions. We should be about the mid-50s. And as you see for the 7-day, not much change in that through the weekend. Cloud cover will be coming into factor Sunday into Monday, but overall, Halloween still looks fairly dry. And then as we go on, it's going to be dry through pretty much the extended until we get to Thursday, Friday. And then we'll see actually showers come back in the picture with another system that could bring rain, but doesn't look like snow at this time, too.
Yeah, that's a great looking forecast.
It really is.
For Halloween, yes.
We have November 1st, 63 degrees?
63 degrees. Wow. So once again, we should be about 52 at that time. So we're overall good, and it's quiet. It's a quiet pattern right now. It doesn't seem like anything significant, even for the whole U.S., is going to go on too much.
Get your car washed.
Yes, I need to.
Well, then it's probably going to rain.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'll jinx it.
You'll jinx it, no. But overall, it's good. We could use the rain, too. We still ended the month fairly short. Madison, we're only about 8,500 right now. We should be about 2.5 or 2 3/4.
And with a La Nina winter, that's usually drier.
That is usually, it's a triple La Nina. So we haven't seen too many in the history of that, or at least recorded. So it's about 3. So three consecutive years, you mean? Well, 3 consecutive years. It's always happened twice in the previous history. So
since we've known what it is.
Yeah, so I would go, if you're going to go on anything, lean more dry and colder. But we're really close to what we don't know on this winter coming up, so it will be interesting. But we are dry October, and it looks to be, at least right now, drier for November, too. So.
All right. Greg, thank you.
Looks good. Thanks, Greg.
For UW-Madison students, finding affordable housing options off campus can be difficult.
Some students say they're waiting hours in lines for leases that don't even start until next year. And that means the call for solutions is becoming even more important.
Our Catherine Merck shows us how one Madison landlord is taking on the student housing crisis in a new way.
The UW students themselves will tell you it's really difficult to find affordable housing this year.
This housing market right now is ridiculous, and no one can afford it.
One Madison landlord saw the demand for places to live and turned it into an opportunity. Press House Apartments is opting to phase out leasing, giving students more time to find their next home. At least 60% of its building in October, and is holding the rest of its apartments for more rounds of leasing later.
Our entire mission is to support students and their health and their wellness and their whole person, and so our housing is a part of how we do that. And so we thought, well, we in order to be consistent with that, in order to do the best we can for students and their wellness, we wanted to take this approach.
Press House Apartments is also addressing the rising cost of housing by increasing their scholarship amounts by 30%. Those scholarships are offered to half of the total residents in the building. Reporting in Madison, I'm Catherine Merck with News 3 Now.
You know, that has changed. When I went to school here, look in the spring.
I was just going to say, did you have to sign a lease in October?
No.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, a legal challenge to President Biden's student loan forgiveness program has millions of people wondering, now what?
The White House had previously identified this week as the soonest some borrowers could see their debt canceled.
Jen Sullivan tells us what borrowers and those who qualify for relief should know.
Debt relief in legal limbo. A federal
federal appeals court put President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program on pause for now.
I'm still waiting for that relief, right? No one's had their debt canceled yet.
Friday's move barred the administration from canceling loans, while the court considers a legal challenge from 6 Republican-led states. So, what does it mean for the more than 20 million people who've applied for relief so far? The Biden administration appears confident the program will prevail.
We're not deterred. We'll keep fighting for you and pushing through.
The administration had said Sunday was the earliest day it would start discharging loans. So people will now have to wait a little longer while the program's fate is decided.
I'm one of the people that we're fighting for.
Cody Hunanian is the executive director of the Student Debt Crisis Center, a nonprofit focused on ending the student debt crisis, who is also waiting for some of his debt to be forgiven.
It's not going to erase my entire debt, but it's a third of my student loan debt, and it, one, opens up the door, hopefully, for the ability to purchase a home, invest in myself in a different way.
The program would dismiss up to $10,000 in debt for eligible applicants, up to $20,000 if they received Pell Grants. So, what should you do if you qualify? The White House is still encouraging people to apply at studentaid.gov. And the Better Business Bureau continues to remind you to beware of ongoing scams.
Scammers have been right there to take advantage. They know that there's a bit of confusion about what's going to happen next.
I'm Jen Sullivan.
The 6 GOP-led states that requested a preliminary injunction argue President Biden doesn't have the legal authority to wipe out the debt.
Meanwhile, lawyers for the government argue that Congress gave the Secretary of Education the power to discharge debt in a 2003 law known as the HEROES Act. That was when George Bush was in office.
Stay tuned. Coming up next here at Live at 4, a story about a group of black women reaching the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa.
It's very inspiring. And then next hour at 5, local Democrats stopped by UW-Madison today to stump for Governor Tony Evers. Our political reporter Will Keneally will have more coming up tonight at 5.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know I am. I just want you to know I am.
This is how it feels to do more with less asthma, thanks to Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Imagine that. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
New at 5, locking into a year-long contract with people you barely know is intimidating for students. News 3 Now shares a landlord's solution to the issue.
We're looking at more seasonable weather as we head into tonight, but we're going to be showing some things that are going to change as we head towards the weekend. We'll have your full forecast 9 to 5.
And ahead at 6, before heading to the polls, make sure you know the facts. We have another reality check for you, focusing on Ron Johnson's support for a tax plan tonight at 6.
Giving the weather satellite a spin, we end up at the Bay Bridge connecting San Francisco and Oakland.
That is such a beautiful shot.
64 degrees. It's not the Golden Gate Bridge,
Nope.
It's the other one.
Right.
It's the one that collapsed in the earthquake.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct.
Many moons ago. Well, a group of black women recently back from a trip of a lifetime is sharing the experience to inspire others.
They appeared today on CBS This Morning to talk about making it to the summit of the largest freestanding mountain in the world.
Michael George has the story.
Good job. They call themselves Sisters to the Summit. And earlier this month, they reached the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa. An expedition 5 years in the making.
We want to see the world, and we want to discover places and take ourselves out of our comfort zones.
We all had to find our ways to train, so whether it was on the treadmill, doing small hikes in New Jersey, or going in Harlem.
12 women made it to the peak, one of the largest groups of black Americans ever to do so. But 2 others did have to turn back because of altitude sickness.
I kept throwing up. I was really weak. My oxygenation went down to 56. And it's supposed to be at least 100.
100, yeah. All 14 women shared their story on CBS Mornings. They say they were able to reach their goal thanks to help from personal porters.
Our snacks, our first aid, everything went with our personal porters.
So somebody's carrying it.
Someone's carrying it, which was very unique on the mountain because everybody who is climbing the mountain, they're in it, salt of the earth kind of people, granola, and we were the only group. We were the only group that had someone walking beside us carrying our backpack.
How many porters did you have?
72.
Oh, wow.
Your studio.
We made it. We made it to the summit.
And while 2 weeks later, some of the women still can't feel their toes, a few are already thinking Antarctica will be their next adventure. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
All 14 women said they made lifelong friendships on the journey.
All but one said they would not make the journey again with their spouse or significant other.
Probably wise.
Go with your girlfriends.
That's an incredible story.
Yeah, it
Good
really
for
is.
them. Well, it's time to pick up the phone and get your plant and garden questions answered.
Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is standing by. Oh, hi, Lisa. You look great. Look at all the pumpkins there.
It's National Pumpkin Day.
Oh, perfect. If you have a question for Lisa, the number to call 608-270-9933. She'll take your calls when we come back. Call now.
Don't you wish you could wave a magic wand and have whiter teeth? Well, you can, but it's not magic. It's power swabs. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and boom, whiter teeth and a better smile. And since you're not dealing with messy trays or awkward strips, you're less vulnerable to the harsh sensitivity they sometimes create.
I've used strips. They seem to really hurt my teeth. The power swabs, it just seemed very gentle.
It's so simple and easy. You just open it, you apply it to your teeth, you forget it's there, and I noticed that they're white and bright again like they were before.
I noticed actually a difference the first time that I used power swabs. You put on the first coat and then the activator goes on and immediately you start seeing it working.
It only takes 5-minute applications to get a brighter, whiter smile with power swabs. You just snap, swab, and smile. Power swabs have been clinically studied to whiten natural teeth and remove stains from caps, crowns, and veneers. It's so powerful, it removes stains from coffee, tea, red wine, and even smoking.
I love my coffee in the morning.
I will never stop drinking coffee. I will not be the person drinking hot coffee with a straw.
As much coffee as I drink, I can use my power swabs and eliminate the staining.
When I use the power swabs, I applied it directly to my front tooth where the coffee stain was.
I like being able to individually get the teeth, and most importantly, it got kind of in between the grooves.
You can put it directly on the stain that you see on your teeth, and it's so precise.
But as powerful as it is, it's also gentle and causes 0 to minimal sensitivity.
This didn't sting, it didn't burn, it didn't have
have an aftertaste. It was just a swab, and I just got to rub it on my teeth, and that was it.
Take it from me as someone who has gone the dental route, but has also gone on the shelf route, and I've not really seen anything work as effective and as easy as power swabs.
Whiten your teeth today by ordering power swabs and receive 40% off the regular price. Shipping is free, plus you'll receive a free quick stick pen to use on the go after meals or a cup of coffee. Visit powerswabs.com or call the number on your screen.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Wow, this is where you work now? Figured I deserved a more inspiring space. And with home values being up, I had a lot of equity. So I got a home equity line of credit from Summit, and voila, added a home office.
Took your business to the next level.
Hey, you two have been in your place for a couple years now. Any fun plans?
Well, we just finished a refi with Summit.
Really?
And the plan is to make a bunch of great memories.
We're going to use the savings to get a camper.
Whatever your goals, Summit Credit Union can help you use your home's equity to go get them.
Yeah, overall, traffic, we're looking good tonight. No issues, disabled vehicles, or even crashes. You zoom in, even to the Beltline to the south area, still looking good. Congestion in your normal places. As you go over to Mount Horeb, still looking good. No issues to speak of right now. If we go up to Dells, up to the interstate there, once again, no issues to speak of. And the same story is for Janesville, too. Overall, no issues to speak of. Temperatures right now, like I said, in the mid-50s. We should be cooling back down the next few hours into the 40s. And the good news is the winds have started to decrease, too, while you're driving out there. We're down to about 10 to 12 miles per hour. They should become light and variable this evening as well, you guys.
All right, good. Thank you. A designer in the Netherlands has created clothing made out of COVID vaccination syringe caps. Red caps from Moderna, purple from Pfizer, and blue from Janssen coronavirus vaccines. The designer Violet Rydell worked as an assistant at a vaccination center and says she wanted to surprise people with her creations. She's even made a white wedding dress made of protective covers for injection needles filled with glitter.
It's pretty creative.
It is creative.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking your plant and garden questions today.
The number to call if you have a question for Lisa Briggs is 608-270-9933. We have 2 lines open, and Lisa joins us live from the Bruce Company. Hi, Lisa. I love your hat.
Hi, guys. It's protecting me from the sun. It's right in my eyes.
It is National Pumpkin Day.
It is National Pumpkin Day, and we have pumpkins.
And you're going to be on the show Friday to show us how to carve them.
I'm going to be doing some carving tips on Friday, yep.
All right,
Lisa Briggs' Halloween pumpkins are incredible, so hope you can tune in on Friday.
All right, let's go
that's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Let's go to the calls. We'll start with Bev in Beaver Dam. Hi, Bev. What's your question?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'd like to know what the outside temperature has to be when you quit watering arborvitaes. Thank you.
Bev, have your arborvitae been planted this year?
Yeah, they were planted in July. And
okay, so you're going to want to keep watering until the ground freezes. So it's not really an air temperature issue. It's when the ground starts to freeze. So we're probably talking after Thanksgiving, early December.
So
and you want to water good soak once a week until then.
Okay.
All right, very good. Let's go to Karen in Edgerton. Hi, Karen. What's your question?
Hi, Lisa. I planted some ruby slipper oak leaf hydrangeas in the spring of 21, and I did not get any flowers this year. And I was wondering if it's because I didn't mulch them. I mean, one of them, the wind took it right off, but it came back, but still no flowers.
Ruby slippers are an oak leaf hydrangea, and they set their flower buds on old wood, which means that your plant has set flower buds for next year's flowers now. So it is one of the few hydrangea that you actually do have to do some mulching to it to protect those flower buds and also protect them from rabbits, because the rabbits will mow them back. So once the ground is frozen, have a bag of bark mulch or something or straw in your garage so it doesn't freeze, and then when the ground is frozen, kind of mound that up a little bit and protect the buds that are along those stems. The good news is that oak leaf hydrangeas are so cool that even if they don't flower, they're really gorgeous.
Okay. Good luck. Let's go to Ron in Cross Plains. Hi, Ron. What's your question?
The question is regarding mums that I have in my flower garden. I want to know when I can cut them back, or if I should cut them back in the fall or in the spring. I leave them in the flower garden all winter. Last year I covered them with leaf mulch, and they came back beautiful. So what is the proper way to handle it?
Well, it sounds like you're doing the right thing if they came back. So generally, the big mums that you're buying now, we call those garden mums. And some years they do really well, and some years they don't. They're not what we call reliably winter hardy. But once you let the ground freeze and you do a good mulch of either leaves or straw or boughs from your Christmas tree, that will do a lot to protect them. But you want to wait until the ground freezes. And if you're using leaf mulch, don't use things that have big leaves like maples, because those tend to mash down, and then sometimes you'll get some diseases in there.
Okay.
All right, very good. Gail in Reedsburg, you're next. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi. I have a large bed of spearmint, peppermint, and I'm wondering if that's going to survive the winter, or should I attempt to bring some of it inside?
Those mints are super hardy. You won't have any problem with it surviving. Be prepared, though, because those mints will run like nobody's business. So you might want to, what I do with mine is I plant them in a big pot and then put the pot in the ground, and that sort of keeps them contained. Otherwise, they can be a little bit invasive, so just be warned.
Okay.
But don't worry about it overwintering.
A little mint goes a long way. All right, Bob in Brooklyn. Hi, Bob. What's your question? Bob, you there? Bob has a question about separating mums.
About separating mums?
Yeah.
They are not a plant that likes to be split. So you buy one and you plant it, but you can't really split it and move them around. If you want more, it's a plant that you have to get more. They don't respond very well to being divided.
So not a lot to do in the yard right now. Just keep arborvitaes watered and wait for the ground to freeze.
Keep things that watered that you've planted this year. Be sure that you rake leaves up off of your lawn so you don't get some lawn diseases through the winter. But there is a school of thought that wants you to leave the leaves in your garden beds, provides cover for pollinators, so you can leave that stuff and then clean that up in the spring.
And plant bulbs.
And plant bulbs, and anything that you had that was diseased, like powdery mildew on peonies, that stuff you want to cut back and you want to get rid of it. Don't put it in your compost pile. Don't let it hang around, because sometimes those diseases will reinfect next year.
Okay. Get the tulips in the ground.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll see you on Friday.
Yes, see you Friday.
All right, see you Friday, Lise. Thank you.
Thank you for all the calls, and we'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
I see your hard work, everything you do to try to make it. But people continue to be left behind. I'm running for Senate to put more money in your pocket. Ron Johnson's had 12 years to make things better, but costs are still rising, and all he's managed to do is write a tax cut for himself. I believe better is possible. I believe hard work can pay off, and I'll never stop fighting until it does. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4 Imprint. Yes. I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes. Certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4 Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow.
I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4 Imprint, for certain.
For Clinton Anderson, our
Our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
Tonight on News 3 Now, I'll tell you how one Madison landlord is taking a unique approach to combat the student housing crisis.
And Darrell Brooks has been found guilty on all counts. We'll hear from the district attorney and victims coming up at 5.
The candidates for Wisconsin Attorney General face off in a live debate. Join us as Attorney General Josh Kaul and District Attorney Eric Toney debate in a Campaign 2022 special.
Thursday at 4 p.m. on News 3 Now, your local election headquarters.
We have a nice and dry, pleasant stretch of weather coming up through Halloween and through the early part of November. So as you see, temperatures in the 60s, above average, not 70s, but still pretty good. Otherwise dry. The next chance of rain holds off until next Thursday. So looking good.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhoffels. And right now, save $300 on Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattresses, starting at just $53 a month. The Tempur-Breeze uses next-generation cooling technology, allowing you to sleep up to 8 degrees cooler all night long. And you can rest easy when you take advantage of Steinhoffels' 60-month zero-interest financing. Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep? Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
More than 300 murders just last year. Terror at the Waukesha Christmas Parade. But Defund the Police radical Mandela Barnes still supports eliminating cash bail, releasing dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes says,
reducing prison population is now sexy.
Actually, releasing criminals isn't sexy. It's dangerous. Radical Mandela Barnes won't keep your family safe. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
In today's Final Touch, a very creative dad in Iowa is bringing Halloween home decorating to a new level.
Beware of the monster. In the Halloween decorating game, there's lame, and then there's destined for fame. Behold the monster. It's the latest creepy and crafty concept from industrious Iowa dad Greg Dietzenbach, who went viral a couple of years ago for crafting this interactive monster Zoom call costume for his daughter. For this year's crazy creation, Dietzenbach had to craft a front door from scratch. He then imprinted a high-def TV for the blinking eyes, animated arms constructed from broom handles, and a homemade foam-hinged wreath for the monster's moving mouth. It's sure to add a scare to these sweet surprises waiting for trick-or-treaters. That is, if the kids even stick around for the candy.
That is fabulous.
That is fabulous. Good for him. No show here tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Friday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.